Let's face it, home upgrades can quickly turn into a dream or a nightmare, and personally, I've had my fair share of experience with both scenarios. So whether you're flipping a house, improving your own home, or are just plain curious, we're going to be looking at 5 of the most popular upgrades to add value to your property. As you'll soon see, the list is rather surprising, and that's because a lot of the upgrades that people are doing today aren't actually adding value. But of course, to each their own. Not everybody is thinking about the dollars like this, but here at NerdWallet, we definitely are. So make sure you subscribe if you enjoy crunching the numbers like we do. Before we dive in, I do have to quickly mention here that I am not a professional contractor, inspector, or anything of that sort. But I do have a lot of experience with house flips, remodels, and things like that, so I'm going to be sharing that with you here as we go. And with that said, guys, let's get into the first upgrade. According to some experts, this first upgrade could get you as much as a 200% return on investment. That means for each dollar that you put in, you could be getting back $2 in potential profit, but keep in mind you can't realize this unless you actually sell the property. Replacing your garage door is usually far from the first thing people think of when upgrading their home, but this can actually add a lot of value relative to the cost of the upgrade. And a key reason behind this is because this upgrade generally doesn't cost as much compared to others. According to Home Depot, the average cost of a garage door is between $1,800 to $5,400, depending on whether it's 1 to 3 doors. Ultimately, replacing your garage door can upgrade your curb appeal or the attractiveness of the property as seen from the street. It's the first impression people get when viewing your home, and the thing about first impressions is they generally last. So on that note, make sure you look for a garage door that matches the style of your home, because a garage door that looks cheap or out of place can actually do the opposite and bring down the curb appeal of your home. And while we're talking curb appeal here, guys, according to Zillow, this next upgrade can often be the biggest bang for your buck, and that's replacing your front door. And similar to the garage door, it doesn't usually cost too much either. According to Zillow, the average cost for a steel entry door replacement is about $2,500, but the new resale value was found to be over $5,000. So not quite a 200% return here, but still a big win. And in most cases, you could still get at least $1 back here in profit for each dollar that you are putting in. And just like with the garage door, guys, make sure you go with something that looks correct for your property. Now, if you don't want to shell out thousands of dollars, a simpler DIY approach here that has worked for others in the past is to simply paint your existing door. Of course, you're going to want to look into the material beforehand and make sure that it's paintable, but most steel doors are. These days, black front doors are in style, so this could be a simple upgrade that could give you a massive ROI, adding way more value than the cost. I actually did this exact thing myself. Back in 2021, I was working on a house flip project and I wanted to boost the curb appeal. After seeing just how expensive new hurricane and storm rated doors were, I got some exterior paint and got a great look for under $40 myself. Now we're going to be getting into some bigger projects here that cost a bit more but have the potential to boost your property value tremendously. But before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you enjoy videos like this. Doing a minor upgrade to your kitchen can be your next highest ROI upgrade in most cases, but the key word here is minor. We're not talking about doing an open concept, putting in a waterfall countertop, or even redoing the cabinets. Instead, the goal here is to freshen up what is already there. And just like most exterior doors, a lot of cabinets can be painted too. And the knobs and pulls, also known as the hardware, are also replaceable. So something as simple as a fresh coat of paint on cabinets and new hardware can completely change the look of a kitchen at a fraction of the cost of a full remodel. And if you're upgrading the kitchen with intent to sell, adding new appliances like a fridge and dishwasher can go a long way too. You can even think about doing the countertops, but tread with caution here as this can get expensive quickly. For me personally, I'm a big fan of a butcher block countertop because it's durable, attractive, you can refinish it, and it's usually extremely cost effective. That's exactly why I used it in my house flip a few years back and in my rental properties that I've remodeled since then. For one of my rental units, after getting a quote of over $7,000 to do quartz countertops for the counters and the island, I ended up doing it for under $3,000 using butcher block instead. When you get into quartz, granite, or other types of stone countertop, the ROI often becomes murky, as the costs ranging from the labor to the material often balloon. Moving on now, during the home upgrade process, people generally focus on 2 main areas. We've already covered the kitchen, usually the #1 priority, so now we have to talk about the bathroom, which is typically the other most inspected room for potential buyers. The first high ROI improvement that you can make is replacing your toilet with a high efficiency model. Nearly every toilet has a liters or gallons per flush rating, and over time, manufacturers have developed more efficient models. So if you have a decade-old toilet with a gigantic tank, it could be costing you a lot in water, on top of potentially bringing down the overall look of your bathroom. Once the toilet has been replaced, a lot of people will also look into replacing the tub, potentially the shower, and also the tile that often goes around it. And at that point, that's pretty much the entire bathroom. Clearly, bathrooms can get expensive fast, but it's not uncommon to have a 100% return on money invested here, according to some real estate experts. A tip to avoid overspending as well here is make sure that all plumbing is good during the demo phase, because nobody wants to be dealing with plumbing issues behind tile. And another tip, don't lean too heavy into design trends. This could leave you with something that feels really cool but out of place in just a few short years. Instead, I like to stick with simple, more timeless designs and colors myself. Like the natural wood butcher block that I put in my rental unit, that look has stayed desirable for many decades, if not longer. And finally, this leaves us with the last upgrade on our list to hopefully boost the value of your property, and that is none other than investing in the landscaping and outdoor spaces. According to Rocket Mortgage, outdoor living spaces have become more of a necessity than a wish list item for home buyers today. People want to live, work, and entertain others outside, and if your property allows for this, the value often increases significantly. The best part of this category is how creative you can be. On a smaller scale, this could be something as simple as a bench and some plants to create a seating area in your yard. Or on a bigger scale, it could be a deck, outdoor kitchen, gazebo, fire pit. The possibilities here are really endless. As I'm sure you can imagine, the ROI on these projects can vary a lot, but you can get as much as $2 back in profit for every dollar that you put in on certain projects. And as an added benefit, you can do a lot of these upgrades like this yourself. While it wasn't for a property value boost, I added a fire pit here to my property, and it's one of my favorite upgrades. So tell me, what do you think about this list, and what upgrades do you plan on doing? Let me know down in the comment section below, and while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to learn more about home upgrades, check out my next video on DIY versus when to hire a professional. We'll see you next time.